The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone and welcome to the webinar on how to use social media to reach your community. My name is Kim Vidlicki and I'm a marketing and social media specialist at the Europe and Africa office in Zurich. As you are not online live with me, if you have any questions, any comments, or if you need any help, please don't hesitate to send me an email. Today in this webinar, you will learn how to define your goals on social media, how to identify your audience, how to fill out your profiles and create a content plan, and last but not least, how to create compelling content for your social media channels. So yesterday we did a poll about who likes a good story, and 100% of the audience agreed that they like stories. And personally, I love stories. Since the youngest age, I always loved a good bedtime story with princesses and things happening. And this is why I decided to go into social media and communications. And we are not the first ones to get like stories. It is believed that even before humans could use a spoken language, they used sign language to tell each other stories. And on the screen, you see one of the oldest representations of storytelling, which is the Cave of Chauvet in France, and it is over 36,000 years old. So even then, people were painting on walls to tell each other stories and what happened to them, what they experienced. And luckily nowadays, we don't have to paint on walls anymore. And with social media, we have a whole new world of possibilities on how to tell our story. We can use photos, we can use videos, we can use text, and we can share our story not just with the people right around us, but with the whole world. And as Rotarians, you all have amazing stories to tell. So let's use that possibility. Let's use social media to tell your club's story. Now, as with any good communications, it's important to define some ground aspects of your communication on social media. What are your goals? What do you want to achieve with your social media channels? Who is your audience? Who are you talking to? What channels are the right ones for your club? How much time do you have to invest in your social media communication? And last but not least, what content do you want to post to reach your goals and your community? So let's start with the goals. What do you want to achieve with social media? It is really important to define this so that you know if you are going in the right direction and achieving what you want on social media and not wasting your time. So some of the goals could be to build awareness. Maybe people in your region have heard of Rotary, but they have a wrong image of it. They might think of old men meeting together for dinner. And of course, your club or your district is about a lot more than that. And so by being on social media, you can actually tell the people and show people what your club is about, and that way build awareness. You might want to increase visibility. Maybe when you say in your region that you are a Rotarian, or when you talk about Rotary, people don't know what Rotary is. And so by posting about your club on social media, you can increase visibility of Rotary. You might have a particular project where you want to inspire partners or drive donations. And so if you communicate about it on social media, you can do that. You can drive donations and inspire partnerships for your particular project. You might want to engage with your community not only offline with people around you, but also online, and be in touch with your online community. Or you might want to get new members and inspire them by showing what your club is all about and what your projects are all about. Of course, you might have more than one goals, but it is important to define what you want to achieve. And to show you some examples, here, for example, we have a post about Elizabeth Nganga. Some of you might recognize her. And it's supposed to build awareness and increase visibility because it shows that Rotary is not only about men, and it increases visibility by showing members on Facebook. Another example here is to drive donations. So when Hurricane Dorian hit, we did a post where people could directly click on the link and give donations for that project. Of course, it also increases visibility about the work of Rotary. And a last example here, this time on Instagram, is, for example, what Rotary and USAID are doing in Ghana. And so it builds awareness, showing that Rotarians are people of action doing stuff and not just having dinners. And it also increases visibility for Rotary. So take a moment to sit down with your club and define what do you want to achieve with your social media channels. Because social media is a way for your club to connect with current and past members, prospective members, donors, and friends. It's also an effective way to increase awareness of your club and its activities in your community. So think about it. What is your main goal with social media? And with yesterday's groups of people who were live at the webinar, everybody agreed, it was 100% agreement, that their goal is to build awareness and increase visibility. So, of course, depending on the goal, you will choose different channels and post different content, and your audience will change as well. So once you defined your goal, for example, to build awareness and increase visibility, the question is, who is your audience? And we can all agree that people are on social media. So of the 7.5 billion people out there, 3.1 billion are active social media users. So imagine all of the people that you can reach via social media. And it is not because our audience is not offline and we don't see them directly, we don't see their emotions, that they don't count. People take time to follow your page, to like your content, to comment. And so you should think about, who are they? What do they like and dislike? And what do they expect from you? So for example, if you have a club page on Facebook, what do people expect from you? Probably to see something about your projects, about the speakers coming to your club meetings, about any events you might have. And you should make sure to find a common ground between what you want to communicate and what your community is interested in. And you see directly if people like what you post or not based on how much they commented and they like it. And so you can adapt your content quite easily to your audience once you defined who they are. So I want you to take a minute to imagine the following situation. You are meeting a friend you haven't seen in years. And you meet her in a coffee shop, and she starts talking about her career and her children and her husband and everything she's been doing and where she's been traveling. And you listen to her for 5 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, and she never asks you questions. She never even leaves you the time to comment on her experiences. She just talks and talks and talks and talks. What will you do after 2 hours? Well, probably you will be quite frustrated and think, I will never see that friend again. And it is exactly the same on social media. Social media is a two-way communication. So make sure to invest time not only in posting, and we will look at the content after that, but also to take time to comment on people's comments, to respond on questions, to answer their messages, because it is a two-way communication. And you have to take care of your community. It is really worth it. It is 50% of your post of your job on social media is not only to you say what you want to say, but also to listen to your community and to dialogue with them. All right, so we have defined our goals. So, for example, building awareness and increasing visibility. We have defined our audiences. So, who are they? So, if our goal is to increase visibility and brand awareness, our audience will probably be non-Rotarians, right? Because they are the ones who haven't heard of Rotary. And now the question is, which channels are the right one for your goals and your audience? So on the picture that you see, on the graph that you see on your screen right now, you can see what social media channels are mostly used on the African continent. And number one still is Facebook. However, WhatsApp was not part of this study, so this is really important to keep in mind. So you might want to decide to go for Facebook because your audience is external and Facebook has a lot of people that you can reach, even though it's a bit older people. So old, by older, I mean maybe 35, 40 plus. You can do post videos, photos, links, and you can promote your content easily. You might be more into having a lot of news to share and really short messages, so maybe Twitter would be the right one for you. If you want to reach a younger audience and you have a lot of beautiful pictures of your projects or of your club life, you might want to consider Instagram. Of course, WhatsApp is important for example, your internal club communication. So when you communicate with your fellow Rotarians, if you, for example, have a fellowship of Rotarians working in marketing, you might consider a LinkedIn group. For videos, you might think about YouTube. And if you really want to reach a young audience, maybe Snapchat is the right for you. But of course, it depends on your goal and your audience. And as social media takes time, I would rather choose one or two. So for example, for a perfect mix, WhatsApp for your internal Rotarian communications and Facebook or Instagram for your external communications. So yesterday I asked the participants what channels do they use the most, and most of them selected WhatsApp, so you could just choose one at a time. And some of them selected Facebook. And this was really important because, and really interesting, because their goal of all the attendees was to increase visibility and brand awareness. And to do so, you have to communicate with an external audience, not your fellow Rotarians. And so for that, it might be good to consider, of course, WhatsApp for your internal communications, but for example, Facebook for reaching a wider audience of non-Rotarians. And I don't want to go too much into detail here because you have a great quick start guide for club social media pages on the Brand Center where every platform is defined. And in the document I will send you after the webinar, this will be linked so you can access it easily. And no matter what channels you decide to use, make sure to fill out your profiles. So social media is your business card or your billboard online, and it's important to have cover pictures, to have a profile picture with the right logo, please. You can create it on the Brand Center. Don't use the old rotary wheel. And make sure also to put a biography to describe your club. that looks more professional and it makes your pages alive. Make also sure to create a Google location place for where your Rotary Club's meetings take place so that people have all the information. Now we have defined your goals, your audience, and the channels. And the question is now, how much time are you ready to invest for social media? And social media is an extension of your club online. So make it part of your communications toolkit along with emails, newsletter, and your website. And as social media takes time, make sure to not go on too many too many networks. It's quality over quantity. So choose, for example, one, let's say Facebook, and go with it. Make sure that you delegate someone who is maybe responsible for it for a while so that you know that someone is managing also all the messages of your community. And if you have events or projects coming up, make sure to create a plan, a content plan, and delegate someone for making pictures or posting so that you are sure that you make the best out of it. And so, for example, at Rotary International, we have a content plan like this for some of the channels where we have the events and what we are going to post on Facebook and Twitter to remind us of what we want to do. And if you're interested in a plan like this, which makes your planning easier and makes sure that you will not forget to post, I will be more than happy to send you this content plan. Okay, so now we have defined your framework. We have defined your goals. We have defined your audience. We have defined your channels and the time you are ready to invest. The question is, what are you going to post now? And all of these things we defined, maybe you are already on social media and you think, okay, but I'm already active. These strategical points are important to be thought of often. So maybe it's time for you to renew it, to reconsider your goals, to rethink about your audience and the channels you are using. And maybe it would be a great idea to meet with your club or people managing the Facebook page and to put everything on paper so that it's clear for everyone that you have this common goal, common understanding. And then also if the person managing your social media channels is changing, you can really easily pass them on this couple of sentences of your goals, your audience, your channels, and the time you spend on social media. Now for the content. Why do you think am I showing you a picture of a goldfish here? Well, in a recent study I read, it is believed that our attention span has gone from 12 seconds in the 2000s to 8 seconds nowadays, which is less than the attention span of an average goldfish. Why is that? It is because we are bombarded with content. In 60 seconds, there are 29 million WhatsApp messages being sent. There are 3.3 million posts being posted on Facebook. And just think about it. The last time you were waiting for a cab or waiting for a friend in a restaurant, what's the first thing you do? You take out your phone and you consume some content. So in order to catch the attention of your audience, your content has to be really good. And so what makes good content? Think about it. Now, as it's not a live session, I will give you my tips directly, but it's something that you might want to discuss with your club or with people around you. What makes good social media content? What do they like? So good content adds value. It tells a story. It uses photos and videos. It gets personal. It respects the platform specifications. It uses influencer and is promoted. So adding value, what does it mean? I like this graph a lot. great content meets two criteria: not useful, useful; not entertaining, entertaining. If it's not useful and not entertaining, don't post it. And here, keep in mind who your audience is and what your goal is. So, for example, if I, Kim, as a private person, post a picture of my lunch today, my friends and family who are following me, who are my audience, might probably like it or comment it because they care about me. That's why they follow me. But as soon as I open a public profile, like for example your club pages on Facebook, it's not just my friends and family, it's the whole world potentially. And so my lunch photo will not be interesting for them, except if I'm a food blogger. If something is not useful but entertaining, it will work very well on social media. And the example here are animal videos. So normally I give the example of a cat here because cat videos are a huge thing in my region. But my Kenyan colleague told me you are not so keen on cats in Kenya. But the thing is, any animal, cute animal emotional videos that are not really useful but will make you laugh or where you will find it cute work very well on social media. Or, for example, you could also say cute baby videos because we all love babies and we all love children. And it's not particularly useful. You will not learn something from it, but you will have a good time watching it. Something useful but not entertaining might be a Wikipedia page. You will get useful information, but you will not be in that sense really entertained. And the best mix of both worlds is a Wikipedia article about your favorite animal with cute videos and pictures in it. So what I want you to remember here is that your content, every post you're posting has to have some added value for your audience. And what does that mean for Rotary? For example, creating an event about uh, here World Polio Day, it is not pure entertainment, but it is a valuable information that this event is coming and that people can register to follow it. Something entertaining but less useful is, for example, at the convention we saw a Rotarian disguised as he called himself Captain Rotary. And it's not something really useful. Well, you will learn something, but it's really entertaining and a great picture. And something entertaining and useful is if you have a great picture of your project so that it's a beautiful emotional picture, but where you will also give an information like here that 35 clubs in Ghana are working with USAID. So keep it in mind, have some added value for your audience. And another thing that you might consider doing is if you have an event, you might want to do a Facebook Live where you will bring people in your event and have some information while it's being entertaining if you have a great speaker. Now, another thing that is always working on social media is telling a story. And for that, you have the People of Action framework. Remember, we all love a good story. So what does it mean? It means that you tell your project in a certain way. So you have identified the problem, your Rotary Club decided, or your district or clubs decided to act on it. You describe then the action and what impact it had on the community. And what we don't want is this big check photos where you just say we did that great project. Because there are plenty of them. People cannot emotionally attach themselves to a big check photo. And behind every big check, there is a great story to tell. So rather use this People of Action framework where you show Either on the brand center, you can create your template where you show your action with people, or sometimes you don't have people. You have an event where people don't want to be on the picture, or you don't have the possibility to have people in the picture, and then you can just show the results of your action, like you see um, here, where Rotary members in Mauritius transformed an old building into a library. But it shows action and it's emotional. Now, a third thing is to use photos and videos. A photo is worth, an image is worth a million words. And so when you have the possibility, always try to aim for the following. So rather editorial or reportage style photos, candid, natural portraits, with really natural backgrounds and movement, and try to capture the special moments. And of course, the most important, try to capture emotions. So if you have a project or an event coming up, try to make as many pictures as possible and then choose the right one that tells the story you want to tell about your project or your event. What we less want is just big check photos or posing groups because they are not telling a story. And for people who are external to Rotary and who don't know your group, it's just a group photo. So make sure to really capture these emotions and the situations. And Rotarians actually taking action, because you're taking action a lot, and that's what we want to portray. And that's what is interesting for an external audience. Get personal on social media. Even brands are not posting these fake marketing pictures anymore. Everybody is trying to get authentic. And as clubs, you are authentic anyways. And so I don't know if some of you have heard about Humans of New York. It is a photographer who used to work in finances, and then he quit his job and decided to take pictures of people first in the streets of New York. And he takes these really authentic pictures on the go and tells their story in their own words. And um, now he is traveling not only in New York but all around the world, and his posts get thousands and thousands of likes and comments. So to show you two examples here, you have really portraits of people that capture their moment, their emotions, and they write something about their life. It can be very short, it can be longer, in their own words. So to show you the shorter example, the little boy says, "We are eating cookies before lunch because grandpa doesn't have any rules." So it's a really cute way of telling the story which people can rely, right? And you can do the same with your club members. All of your club members have interesting profiles. They have interesting jobs or interesting passions or an interesting Rotary story. And that's also what makes you interesting for potential members, is not only what you do as a Rotarian, but also who you are as a person. So that might be a great content idea, is to photograph your members either in their Rotary actions or in their jobs or during one of their other passions, and tell about them, tell a story about them. What are they doing? Who are they? Why did they join Rotary? And that way you can inspire others to do the same. It is also very important on for social media to know your platform specifications. So for example, on Facebook, don't write books. Try to be rather short. If you decide to post videos, make sure to put subtitles on them, because 90% of the people watch videos without the sound on. So if you want to pass your message, you have to make sure that you have subtitles so people can consume it on the go, waiting on their cab or on their friends. Twitter is really about really short messages. Make sure to use hashtags. And Instagram is all about beautiful pictures. So the picture has to tell the story here. And once you decided to post all of your great content to reach more people, you might want to use influencer to spread your message. So it can be local or bigger celebrities, but it can also be fellow Rotarians or Rotaractors who are very active on social media. And if they share your message, it will reach so much more people. And you can also, of course, share their content. It's again, social media is a two-way communication, or ask some Rotarians or Rotaractors to share your content and then you share their content. And that way, your story, your club project is reaching so much more people than it would have if you only share it and don't work with Rotarians or Rotaractors sharing it as well. Now, you might also want to consider to promote your content because organically, unfortunately, it's not working as well as it used to. And I'm not going to talk about this topic because you will have another webinar on how to use paid social media on the 12th of November by my colleague from the headquarters in Evanston, Andy Sternberg. And he will give you all the tips and tricks to make the most out of the least money on social media. So now we have defined what makes some of the things that make good content is to add value to your audience, to know how your platforms work, to tell a story about how you are people of action, to be really authentic, use photos and videos, and promote your content. And last but not least, use your local and bigger influencers to spread your message. Now, you are not alone with social media. So you have a lot of helpful resources. You have a lot of social media channels from Rotary International, where you might want to get inspired, where you can share content from. Of course, we are also always interested in your stories. You will have those. I will link them below as well. You have the brand center, which has a lot of great guidelines where you can create your white logo. You can also download pictures. You will also be able to access that with the presentation you will get. And finally, you are not live with me as the group of yesterday, but please don't hesitate to send me your questions or also ask questions to Rotaractors who are very keen on social media and using it a lot, and they might be able to help you. I hope you made it until now. Thank you so much for your attention. I know how hard it is to catch people's attention, so I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you very much.